last but not least, I think I might have figured this out. I don't know if you guys feel when you figure out something on your phone or something, but I get very excited when I figure out anything to do with last but not least. Alrighty. Let's see. Well, I don't think that's gonna work. All right, that's okay. Hi guys, welcome so much to my kitchen. I apologize that I did not clean all of the dishes in the sink, but I am so glad you guys are here. So be sure to say hi in the chat. Tell me who you are, tell me where you're from, and I just love to get to know you. But I'm Janelle. If you don't know, my name is Janelle, and I run what is the Nelly Belly. That is a nickname that I was given by my 9 siblings. They're all younger than I am, and I just took that on as the name of my site. And you are here today because we are going to start the 5-day no menu plan challenge. And I'm really excited, really excited for this, for you and for myself. This has been a fundamental change from the way that I view meals. And I know that if you implement even just a little bit of this, it will be fundamental change to you as well, for your family and for your kitchen. I want to go as quickly as I can without talking too fast. I talk very quickly. It is one of the problems of being the oldest of 10 is I have to talk as fast as I can to get my word in. But I want to go fairly quickly so you can just move on and get to the steps and get straight to doing the challenge, and you don't have to sit here and listen to me. But the very first thing I just wanted to say is that this challenge was meant to help it be less stressful in your evenings and in your day. And if at any point it is stressful, stop. Don't do it. Just stop. I do not want this to be stressful. And if you are already working on a menu plan or a menu system that you love, that works great for you, don't change it. This isn't going to be for you. Move on and just keep doing what you're doing, because that's always a hard thing to find. And when you find it, stay in that zone. But this is meant to be customizable. It's budget friendly. It's for any person, any skill set, anything, frankly. And I'll show you why, because it's just so simple. It's ridiculous. But first, I'm going to share my screen here. If I can, once again, figure out the way to get around technology. All right. I did it, you guys. I did it. Woot, woot. Woot, woot. I did, didn't I? There. All right, welcome to the free no day 5-day menu planning challenge. I am so excited to have you here. Before we start, if you can shut off your phone, no big deal. I'm always on my phone while I'm doing something else. And then download your workbook. You're going to have a workbook that looks something like this one. And I have the link for that in the Zoom chat comments. You're going to have it in your emails. It will have, if in the computer format, in the PDF format, when you open it on your computer, the links all link out. So for all of the supplies, you can follow the links out. You can follow the links to everything out. To write in, of course, you need to print it out. Okay, so first things first, I want you to get that download, that workbook, so you can follow along. And then this menu plan, it's not a menu plan. I don't want to call it that. It is literally a menu. So think of it in terms of a restaurant menu, where you go to the restaurant and they give you a trifold or whatever it is of all of these different dishes that you get to choose from. That's literally what we are going to create, is our own family menu. And then we just pick out the items that we want to have on a daily basis, and we pop them into the days that work. That's all it is. It's very simple. It is not about recipes. In fact, we sometimes we confuse recipes and meals. They are not the same thing in any way, shape, or form. And so this is not about gathering recipes. It's not about lists. It's not about lots of planning. It's the opposite of planning. If you are planning a lot, you need to change up the way you're doing things. Okay. I don't want to get that far in advance. So quickly, you're going to have 5 steps, 5 days, however it is, do it in the pace that you feel most comfortable with. Today is technically day 1, and watching this video is your first step so that you can get an overview of what it is you're going to create. It's not hard at all. It does not take a lot of time. The most time you're going to spend in this entire thing is going to be with me right now, and then making some lists of meals that your family likes. But today, you're just going to get yourself organized. You're going to watch this video to get an idea of what you're looking for. You're going to get your supplies together. That list is in your workbook, and I'm going to show you what that might look like in just a little bit so you know what you might want to think about. You do not need to get fancy supplies. You can use a list and a piece of paper. You can use Post-its. You can use stickers. You can anything you want to use, you can figure out a system. It does not have to be fancy. Sometimes people like it to be fun and pretty. I like that, but it does not have to be. So keep it what you will use, what your family will use, and what is budget friendly for you. You're going to make a top 40 list. Top 40 of your family favorites is going to be on day number 2. I would recommend that you get your family involved in that, and your pages are going to look like this. You can have several pages that look like this. And you're going to see that I have the time, I have the recipe name, I have the main ingredient, and I have the person in the family that likes the recipe the most. And the reason for that is it's a good idea to have an idea of how long a dish takes you. So you can pop it in your top 40, or decide, you know what, this is a 3-hour dish. Let's not even include it in our weekly or our menus. Also, you want to make sure that every family member is honored with one of their favorite dishes. Now, that being said, everybody needs to like the dish, but maybe they love the dish. That's going to be awesome. And then, think about your main ingredients. Are these ingredients that are easy, budget friendly, you feel confident with? If not, maybe it's going to be one that's taken out. Day 2, you're going to be making a list, have your family just scribble it down, give your kid a piece of paper and say, hey, write down every meal that you love that I make. You could end up with 200. That's okay. Go ahead, just take out those lists, and you'll see in that day how to hone that down into just a smaller, more manageable amount of meals. Again, not recipes, meals. And then day 3 is just going to be simply gathering. I have a hair on my shirt and it's driving me bonkers. Sorry, I'm like trying to stroke it off. Okay, back on track. Day 3 is going to be gathering the recipes, if there are recipes that you will need. And you're going to put yourself into a binder that looks like mine. And you're just going to be printing off your recipes on simple paper. Nothing fancy here, just so you have them all in one place so that you can make notes on them for your family. This isn't just about you creating recipes that you can make. It's also about giving your family the skills, the tools, the information that they need to create recipes with you, for themselves, that they love. So we want to make sure that all the information that's necessary is in this binder. So you're going to print out those recipes, any recipes you need, any side dishes you need, and you don't have to do them all at one time. You can kind of print them as you go if you like. Doesn't matter how you want to do it. If you're one of those people that wants it all done at once, go for it. Then you're going to day 4, you're going to personalize and adapt those recipes. I'm going to show you what that looks like in just a second, but you're going to take the time and energy to put some notes on those. Again, you could do only a few at the beginning and do them as you go forward in the future. And then the very last thing, which is the most fun, is that you're going to put it together into whatever format you have decided you want it to be. And I'm going to show you some of the formatting right now, if I can. All right. So this is actually my forever menu. I call it a forever menu. It lives on my refrigerator, and I use what are these magnetic labels. I'll show these right over here. I use, and I got 50 of them for, I think it was like $15 from Amazon. I have a link for that. And I just wrote down all of the meals on each label, put them all in the fridge, and then that top part on the freezer is where I just move the next week's recipes up and keep all the other ones on the bottom. And that's all that is. Very, very, very simple. So this is how I actually do it. Another friend of mine, she has hers in a calendar, and someone else has the same kind of system, but in a planner. And she just has these little Post-its, and I actually got this to show you because I wanted to show you what it looked like, and writes down all of the recipes and puts them on the days. The key here is that she can then take the days, the meals off of the day when she's used them and just move them to the next month, and doesn't have to keep writing that down. She can just move them. I'm going to actually show you. All right, so what that looks like, I actually made one. I bought the same materials and made one. So it looks like this. This is this month's. And so this was full. And all that happened is when they were used, and when we made the recipes for the meals, they got moved on to the next month. You can see that. And I like to have, like crock pot things on Sundays and grilling on Saturdays. That's just my personal preference. Then the key here is that you need to have a place to store any of the recipes that aren't being used. And this one is on the back of the calendar, so that you don't have to write them down all the time. Those Post-its look like these little guys. And so we just keep some of these on hand, extra ones, because I mean, those sometimes are going to lose their adhesive. They're going to need to be replaced, or you're going to want to swap some out, or whatever. You'll see. Okay, so that's a couple different ideas of how you're going to set this up. And again, the shopping list is in there. There's some tips in here. Number one thing is you do not need to finish all of this in 5 days. That's okay. Just get yourself started, get your brain thinking about it, and just stop looking for recipes all the time. Okay, just start there. Say no to creativity. We're going to talk about this in Q&A. I can almost guarantee someone's going to ask me a question about this. You want to keep it as simple and basic as possible in your recipe format. If your kids love chicken nuggets, you write down chicken nuggets. That's okay. Super, super simple, most basic format. And then you want to keep it simple. You're going to see in each day, you'll have step by step on how to do this. So just hold tight. All right. Now, what I wanted to do here real quick is to show you what it looks like. Okay, so this is an old set of my family's top 40 meals. I have since simplified this even further. So like number 4 says chicken and broccoli Alfredo. I've actually simplified that to just say Alfredo, and it gives me the freedom to kind of, make whatever kind of Alfredo I want. But this is kind of what ours looks like. These are some of my family's favorite dishes, and we made a list of all of our favorites and put them all in one. I made sure to pay attention to the budget that I want to spend on each meal. The dietary needs. So a lot of these recipes are able to be gluten-free or dairy-free for me. My skills, so I can't make some things. Believe it or not, I'm a food blogger, but there are some dishes I do not like to make. You won't find those on my list. And my schedule. I make sure that there are recipes on here like hot dogs that I can crank out in all of 10 minutes. Other recipes might take a little bit longer and are perfect for Sundays when I'm bopping around the house. Okay, so this is what I was going to show you about a recipe where you're going to scribble on it. You want to make sure on the back of your recipe that you have made lots of notes about how you can make them ahead. You can add swaps. You can add additions of ingredients. You can create what sides you like to create, how you can stretch the meal, anything that you might want to do to update that meal or to change it, you want to put in here. You are also going to make sure that any recipe, for instance, this is my Hawaiian chicken. We always make it with Instant Pot rice. So I have the recipe for Instant Pot rice in here as well. And I just have the page number at the bottom of the Instant Pot rice. And I put the number of the page number next to the rice so that my family can find it easily, I can find it easily, and everyone knows where that recipe is. So everything is just easily found. Again, I want to make this easy for my husband. This is actually from last night. My husband just made this last night. I want to make it really easy for my husband to step in and help me cook if I'm busy. All righty. So that is pretty much, I'm going to ask some questions. I'm going to launch this poll. Amy, hi. And I would love to see what you guys are doing currently. Do you follow a menu plan regularly? And how long does it take you to menu plan? I was asking this question to people, and I was shocked that most people take a good 45 minutes a week to menu plan. And I think some people use have grocery shopping as part of that time, which I want to talk about grocery shopping in a second here. But that was that was just shocking to me, that 45 minutes, because they're researching recipes, they're looking up recipes. And if we stopped looking up recipes and we made what we knew our family liked, that'd be awesome, wouldn't it? All right. Do you follow a plan? So we've got half and half most of the time, and I try once in a while. So nobody said absolutely. And then how long does it take you to menu plan? About 30 minutes or at least an hour or more. So what I'm going to tell you guys is that this system gives you back those hours. You don't have to worry about it. And the best part is your family is happy. All right, so let's get into here's the results. I don't know if I can, technology. All right, so I'm going to get into some questions here real quick. First of all, if you have any questions, make sure to pop them in so I know what they are. I got some questions in advance that I want to make sure to speak to. One of those is how you deal with grocery shopping for this, because obviously it's still a meal. You're still creating meals. You still have to grocery shop, and there's a few ways that you can do this. One of the ways that I do I do it different every time. I'm being completely honest. One of the ways is I'll take my weekly shopping ad, usually on my phone. Most of my groceries I buy online, and I look at what's on sale, and then I go to my meal plan or my menu, and I choose meals based on what is currently on sale. The other thing I do, and often I do them in conjunction with each other, is I piggyback ingredients. So I will buy chicken, usually if it's on sale, and I'll buy multiple packages of chicken, and I'll make one chicken recipe on Monday and another chicken recipe on Wednesday, cook all the chicken on Monday, and then have it hold over until, usually in the freezer, until Wednesday. Usually it's like chicken tacos on Wednesday, so that I can cook chicken breasts on Monday, shred it, put it in the freezer, and it's fine on Wednesday. So that's another suggestion. The other thing I would really, really, really recommend is when you're creating your recipe, keep creating your meals and picking your meals. Keep those ingredient amounts small. Pick the meals that are easy, don't have a ton of ingredients, and you know that you can pick up all the stuff fairly easily. It'll just save you a lot of trouble. All right, so that's one of the questions that we had early on. And then another question was, but I like to try new recipes. How do I get to do that? And you're not stuck here. This is a helpful tool. It isn't something that you have to stay married to. You can absolutely 100% decide to do something else. The beautiful part about it is that you can do it when you feel like it, or you can take the recipe or the meal that you're currently making, like spaghetti. You can decide to make it from a jar and make it with boxed pasta, or you can decide to make your own sauce and your own pasta based on how you feel. It doesn't matter. They're both pasta, they're both spaghetti, but you certainly can. Also, I have one of the cards, these little guys, that literally says new recipe on it. And when I have a day off, or I know I'm going to have time, I will take that and I'll put it up in on my spot, and I know that I've given myself time and permission to go ahead and try a new recipe. How do I organize meals with multiple possible recipes? Okay, what you mean by that is, like, you have a recipe that has a sauce, it has a rice, it has multiple things. You can, if they all go only with the same recipe, put them all two together in your binder. However, if it's like mine, where I have the Instant Pot rice, and I use that recipe for lots of different things, that's where you would mark a page number on the bottom of that recipe, and you would make sure to reference that page number anywhere you use it on another recipe, so that you can find it, but also your family can find it again. So in my binder, I have all of my main recipes. The front by alphabetical. So it's curry, enchiladas. But in the back, I have all of the extra recipes, like your sauces and Instant Pot. I have them all in the back by page number. And so when I come across a recipe, the other great thing that I love to do is, like, I'm making curry. I make curry often, but occasionally I'll come across a new curry recipe that looks so good. And I'll make a mark on my curry page, my traditional page that says, try this new recipe number, and I'll reference page number 22 or whatever. And then I'll put that new curry recipe with page number 22 into my binder so that I can, if I decide to, or if I want to, go ahead and reference that. But it isn't something I have to do. It frees my brain. It frees my energy. It allows me repetition. Our brains love repetition. It helps us feel organized and calm. And so it just gives you the this framework to take that brain power of having to plan and think and menu plan and pull it back to just making meals. So, what else? I want to swap out a new recipe, but not get rid of the old one. Okay, so I would suggest you get extra of these labels or whatever it is you choose. And I actually have a little spot on my refrigerator that's for recipes that I've pulled out of rotation. Usually in the summer, I do this because, you know, like soups we don't make in the summer. And so then I'll take and I'll add in a salad or a grilled chicken or whatever and pull those soups out of rotation. There's nothing, like, again, this is just a framework. You aren't married to it. Make it work for you. Do what you want to do. Just don't get caught in doing that often, because then that defeats the purpose of having, you know, a set menu. Anything else? How do you plan? Oh, breakfast and lunch. This is supper. And I know many people have children and they have to make lunch. I mean, I have children too, but they're grown enough that they can kind of fend for themselves. So there's a couple things you can do. First thing I would suggest is, if you don't already, is putting your breakfast and lunch on kind of some sort of a rotation. Breakfast for us is like 3 things that we use or we eat. And it's just one of 3. Our brains are tired in the morning. It doesn't need to think. We don't need variety in the morning. Lunch, we have salads, sandwiches, and soups in various varieties. But again, it's just me and my son. However, when my children were smaller, we did a top 40 for lunch. And we had another one. It was more like 25. And they were mostly all kid friendly. And most of them, my kids could prepare themselves. So it'd be like peanut butter jelly sandwiches, fish fingers, different things that they loved that they could make themselves. And we would have a separate menu, and they got excited about that, because if it was one that they could make, they were responsible for it. So that's another way you could do that. The other thing, of course, is to plan on leftovers. On that Hawaiian chicken, I actually have lunch circled on the back, because the Hawaiian chicken makes great leftovers. And so I will often make extra to have for lunch the next day. So we eat a lot of leftovers. Some families don't like leftovers, but I would suggest you try. Oh my gosh, your family loves boxed meals, canned meals, processed meals, and you don't want to have to eat that all the time. I hear ya, but just go with it to start with. If they want fish fingers, and if you give your kids a list, if you give your kids the list and your husband the list, and you get pizza, fish fingers, chicken nuggets, SpaghettiOs, all of the canned processed foods down the list, and that's what you get, that's okay. Still go with what is the majority people of everyone likes. Introduce new sides, introduce new veggies, and slowly try to introduce those favorites into new options and new varieties. So if they love chicken nuggets, rather than the traditional Tyson chicken nuggets, try moving that to a new brand that has better, healthier options. Maybe try making homemade chicken nuggets. Try to shift that out of the processed version. And you'd be surprised that it won't take too many months before you get to a point where you're not making processed food nearly as much. There's nothing wrong with it. You still can, but it is a lot less. But don't fight it initially. You're going to spend so much time fighting that, and you're going to use so much energy trying to fight that, and you're never going to solve that by continually fighting it. Your best thing to do is settle into it, and then little by little by little shift that. That's it. So if anyone has any questions, I would love you to let me know. You can always email us. Janelle@nellydeli.com is my personal contact email. Also reply to any of the emails you get from us from the challenge. This is the first day. Please, this is not going to be hard. Take a breath. Keep it simple, keep it easy. Let us know if you have any questions and get yourself started down a menu that lasts forever or whenever you decide you want to tweak it. All right, you guys, have a great afternoon. And I cannot wait to see you in the emails and in the Facebook group. There's a Facebook group, guys. The link is in your workbook. Okay, bye, guys. Have a great